Ah, winter. Yes. Wonderful season. Hello friends, my name is Arif Ariel and today I'm going to talk about Yule.
Oh, I love you!
Oh, Mr. Thorstein, you just had to wait a little longer. I was about to introduce you.
No, I'm so sorry, Lon.
Now you've done it. You have ruined it.
Yeah, no, please, hold on.
Now, I have two special guests with me today, Mr. Tico. There you go, old boy. Yes, right there. And Mr. Thorstein.
Yeah.
Mr. Thorstein is currently unemployed. The world has no need for Viking raids anymore, so he's staying here with me. His days of killing, pillaging and burning are done.
Done? But pillaging is the sweetest thing there is.
Oh, you're quite right, Mr. Thorstein. Those were the days. Now, enough of silliness. Let's start with this video. By now, you have probably heard that Christmas is based on a pagan holiday or a mixture of pagan traditions. Before I start, I would like to tell you that I will only focus on the northern pagan traditions and not all the pre-Christian pagan traditions of this season, or this video will be very long. And for that sort of information, maybe you would like to visit my blog. Now, let's go to the main subject. Yule is the celebration held on the 21st of December. The word Yule means wheel, probably referring to the wheel of the year with all its celebrations, and Yule being the last one to be celebrated. But this wheel is closely connected to the sun, which for millennia has been represented as a wheel. Right, Mr. Tigo? This is the time where night is longer and darkness prevails over the land. After the long dark days of winter, the sun will revive, and from this point on, the days will be longer. The light of the sun will fill all the corners of the world, and with it, joyful days will come. This day also marks the rebirth of the earth itself. The fields will be ready to sow, and the sun and its light on the gradual growth of days will help in the fertility of the soils. But this rebirth is not only about the sun and the earth, but also about their children, animals, plants, and us humans. This is the time for the rebirth of the human soul itself. The cold weather and the gloomy atmosphere of winter leads us to a state of depression, which is associated with the absence of external motivations. And the coming of brighter days and the light of the sun and a warmer weather will give us joy, motivation and inner strength. Now imagine how the people of Northern Europe would feel since snow and cold lasts longer there, and the coming of the sun, or at least the possibility of the light remaining longer during the day, was a real blessing, which would ensure their survival, since it would be easier to plant the soils without being burned by frost. Now, Mr. Thorstein, what would people do on this special occasion? Mr. Thorstein? Mr. Thorstein?
What in the devil?
I was asking, what would people do on this special occasion?
I don't know, Lon.
Mr. Thorstein, would you be so kind to keep to the script?
The script?
Yes, that bloody paper in front of you.
Alright. It's some form of Hellish. I can't read it.
It's English, Mr. Thorstein.
English? But I only know runes.
Oh, for goodness sake. People would gather to celebrate the end of the year and a beginning towards the end of darkness. Oaths were renewed at the beginning of the year, and people would also thank the gods and the spirits of the land who had helped them to survive and to ensure the survival of their loved ones. People would also thank the ancestors during this time of the year for protection and good advice. From this point on, it would be a perfect time to ask the gods for a good harvest for the next year. There were a couple of gods that were worshipped during this season. Mainly, those were the gods associated with light. For instance, Sunna, or Sol, the goddess of the sun, and probably the god Freyr and Baldr, who are the gods associated with light and rebirth. It's quite possible that Thor would be one of the main gods to be worshipped during this season, since he was the deity to bring fire to us mortals. And fire is the element that we can control to our own benefit. And this season is all about rebirth, light, and warmth and fire. It's quite possible that there were other deities to be worshipped during this time of the year. Maybe the goddess Nut, which is the goddess associated with night, and Niorum, the goddess associated with dreams and darkness. Well, this time of the year marks a beginning towards the end of darkness, and deities associated with darkness had to be praised. Yule, or Jólablot, or Jólafest, wasn't commemorated initially on a single day, but it was celebrated from late December till early January, on a date determined by the lunar North Germanic calendar. However, this festivity was placed between the 24th and the 25th of December with the adoption of the Julian calendar and the introduction of the Christian beliefs into pagan Europe. I dare say this was a very smart way to spread the Christian faith by replacing the old pagan traditions and adding certain similarities with the new faith. Right, Mr. Thorstein?
Well, you're quite right, Ron.
Quite. For instance, the night of the 24th to the 25th of December marks the birth of Christ, which by now we already know that he wasn't actually born during this night. But there are a dozen pre-Christian deities from many different cultures around the globe that were born during this night. And what do these deities have in common? Well, they are all associated with light and the rebirth of the sun, associated with the winter solstice. This rebirth of the sun was replaced with the birth of Christ, which is also a figure associated with light. Playing with these similarities in such symbolisms was a way to introduce the new faith to the pagans and convert them in a subtle way. Speaking of which, and these similarities between religious symbols, let's go back to the symbol of the sun wheel, which is represented as a cross. And there is a certain possibility that this pagan symbol was replaced by the cross in which Christ was crucified. Well, Mr. Tico got bored and it was replaced by this Yule goat. Well, there were 3 types of crosses and 3 methods to crucify people. The first one being the so-called Crux Simplex, which is a single upright post where people would be crucified and also bound by ropes. Make up your mind. As I was saying, there was this upright post, and there was also the Crux Commisa, which was an horizontal beam connected at the top of the vertical stake, forming a T shape. And finally there was the X-shaped cross, or the Cruz de Cusa, the Roman cross, which was 2 wooden planks fastened together in an X configuration. Well, the Latin cross, or the cross in which Christ was crucified with that little tip at the end, which makes no sense, probably was created when the Christians came in contact with this pagan symbol of the sun wheel. And this mixture of symbols, the symbol of Christ and the light with the symbol of the winter solstice and the rebirth of the sun, was a way to easily convert the pagans into Christianity.
Oh, that's some conspiracy, lad. You should go to History Channel.
Well, no, Mr. Thorstein, it's not a conspiracy, it's just a thought. It hasn't been proved yet. You don't need to crucify me. Yeah, as well. Now, this pagan celebration begins at the... What was the name again, Mr. Thorstein?
Mother Night.
Right. Or Mother's Night. which began at the sunset of the winter solstice, and then it ended 12 days later. Anyway, to our Scandinavian friends, the night of the 24th to the 25th of December was also a very important night. It was the night when Odin would come to Earth with the spirits of the ancestors and other deities and other creatures, and would give gifts to us mortals. And so the figure of Father Christmas was created in this way. And because a gift calls for a gift, we would also give something in return to the gods. Since this was a time to praise life, the gift of life required the gift of death in return. So animals were sacrificed, especially goats, to be consumed during this celebration.
Oh yes, goat. Quite tasty.
Well, I don't know about that, Mr. Thorstein. I'm vegetarian.
Goat with carrots.
Yeah, that's quite. Unfortunately, not only animals were sacrificed. The gift of life demands something far greater. Humans were also sacrificed, and it wasn't just about shedding blood. It was also to display their corpses on the trees hanging by their necks or their feet. And this reminds us of the red ornamentations that we hang on the trees during this season. The people that were sacrificed in northern pagan Europe. But of course it's not only about gruesome deaths. We have also decorations of white, which reminds us of the snow and the winter solstice. We have golden decorations to remind us of the light and the coming of the sun and the fire, which was praised during this season. And of course we have green ornamentations and the tree itself to remind us of the rebirth of the earth and the nature itself. And good gracious, look at the time, this video is getting too long and I'll probably have to make more videos about this subject. So let me know your thoughts about this video and this subject, and let me know how can I improve it. Well, Mr. Thorstein, say goodbye to our friends.
See you all next week.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and all the links to my social media are down below at the description. And that's it for now, and I hope to see you on the next week. Tack för idag!